Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today, and this is the project for today. And it's amazing to me how these pots kind of take on a life of their own. This thing started off as basically a simple jar, and then all of a sudden it has a second story on it and a whole bunch of painting. It's taken days to get this thing painted. So I'm going to show you a couple things today. One, a quick time-lapse video of this thing getting painted. Minute, 2 minutes, something like that. And then going to take it outside. We're going to build a coal fire and get this thing fired. And with a little luck, it'll come out as a beauty. So let's get started. Well, I hope you found the painting video kind of interesting. And if you are interested in more of the detail, I made a little video showing the specific techniques of how I paint all these different kinds of things. I'll put a link up here somewhere or in the description. And so now let's go outside and get this thing fired. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about building this fire and how I do this, but I can tell you I like firing with coal, but it is a lot more work than anything else. Here is a piece of the coal I use. This is lignite coal. Sometimes they call it brown coal. It is the lowest grade coal available, but it's exactly what I want. So one of the things you have to do is break it apart and get it in these flat pieces, because I'm actually going to build a little wall around the pot here, and so that needs to stack up as evenly as I can, especially because this pot is so tall. The other thing is it's kind of difficult to get this stuff started, and try something a little different. I've left some gaps, 4 gaps around these bricks, and I'm going to build fires in each of these gaps to hopefully get the little wall of coal going. I'll show you what that looks like once we go. But I'm going to build the wall of coal around the pot first, then get it started. I think I've got the wall built up as much as I really need to. The next step then is to bridge the top with some sherds and then stack coal on top of that. Here is the beehive, so to speak, of coal. Pot is down underneath. You can kind of see it down in there, I think. And so what I have done is I have a different bucket filled with charcoal and coal mixed together. Lit that on fire. Once that gets going, I'm going to move some of that fire over to the big pile of coal. Hopefully that will start. I'm going to get this started with wood first, and then I still have my charcoal and coal going over there, and I'll add that to it now. So hopefully that does the trick. So the fire is going pretty good. It's starting at the base. That's what I'm looking for. So now the next step, I think, is to stack some bricks around the base of it. And the reason is I don't want the coal to cave in once it gets going. So the point is just to give it some support. It's been going, what, maybe 3.5 hours, and it's kind of fallen apart. And I'm not seeing the temperatures that I really am hoping for. And so the temps are around 750, which is the very lowest possible, I think. I want to see 850 or 900 if I could. So what I'm going to do is add coal. It may be a mistake, but I'm going to do it anyway. Well, good morning. The kiln is set all night long. It's still warm, but not bad. And I'm going to open it up here in a minute, but I want to talk about something first. It's about coal. And yesterday was a frustrating day with this fire, and coal is frequently frustrating. And quite frankly, I'm not sure I recommend it to anybody. Maybe some people, but let's talk about that for a second. I've said before that it's inexpensive, and it is. It's 9 cents a pound. That's 1/10 the cost of charcoal. But that doesn't count the fact that I had to drive 2.5 hours in my pickup to get it. By the time that's all done, it's probably about the same price as charcoal. But yesterday, you know, it starts slow, and it's smoky, and it stinks. You know, I did not have neighbors that were calling and complaining, but I'm sure they were not thinking good thoughts about me yesterday. It takes all day long, and it doesn't smoke the whole day, but it takes, you know, it was a good 2.5 hours before this fire really got going. And at the end of the day, I was feeling a little bit sick from sucking it all in. There's a lot of junk in coal. There's a reason that they have been moving away from coal in manufacturing and so on. However, that is the beauty of coal, is all these impurities that are in it that have the potential of making a very beautiful pot. I don't think I'm going to get that today. We'll see. That is the upside, but it is kind of difficult to deal with. And yesterday I stacked it up. The stack went pretty good, but all the ashes fell in and covered up the bottom of the pot. I just think it's going to be discolored and be kind of a problem. I don't know if the pot broke or not. But this coal is not for the faint of heart. That is for sure. And I'm just not sure how much I'm going to use it. In the future, I can't do it here anymore. I can't subject my neighbors to this stinky, smoky coal stuff. I'm going to have to go out in the country and do it. And that means I have to be there for 24 hours because, like I said, this is still hot all the next day. It's almost been 24 hours since this got going. So really give it some thought before you jump into it. And also, it's not that easy to find coal. That's why I have to drive 2.5 hours to get it. Enough said about that. No more lecturing. Let's open the kiln and see what the damage is. Well, yesterday I moved some of the ashes and things away from the pot because the pot was looking like it was getting all smoky or carbony or something like that. And the interesting thing with coal, like I said, it has a lot of impurities in it, and you can see the color of the ashes. Those impurities can do some really amazing things to the pottery itself. Good news and bad news. And I've had situations where these have overfired, and then they kind of get charred and black and scorched. And obviously you don't want that. And I can see with this particular pot, got some issues. So let's pull it out and see how warm it is. Looks like it's solid anyway. So look at that. So down here, yeah, I don't know if it got hot, too hot or not hot enough. I can see down below the coal did not all burn. I think that could probably be cleaned up. But then on the top here, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, on the top here, these are some really kind of cool colors. And this all got washed out, got too hot, I think. So from bottom to the top, there was different environment. The cool thing is, I suppose, is it looks old. And so it looks kind of authentic in that way. But it was not the outcome that I was looking for. The beauty is it is solid. It's good. It's not cracked. Hey, if anybody wants this thing, it's up for sale. I need to get my postage out of it at the very minimum and maybe a little bit more. Because it's kind of a cool pot, but disappointing. Well, not 100% happy with this. It could be worse, I suppose. And you always learn something with these things. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. Comments are wonderful. Thumbs up, subscriptions, all those things. Thanks for being here. Really means a lot. Until next time, this is Wes wishing you health, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.